The Yale Hustles. Okay, so
Here
that
we
was the
go.
conclusion of that story. Now we have the Yale Hustles.
All right.
This is a Charlie Sr. story. So hold on to your butts and your butt-ginas, or your colon coochies if you prefer. I'm not even going to say back pussy. Oh, God, I said it. Fuck.
Your broke-ass balloon knots. Oh, you bastard.
Oh, I hit
didn't
the
see
mic.
that coming. I'll get you.
All right. We didn't so much know how to make money other than to recognize it when it fell into our hands. Okay.
I'm
All right.
familiar with this technique.
Yep. It's a technique. When Charlie Sr. and I were 14 in 8th grade, 1973, we got into used and rare books by chance. We were voluntold by his mother to do a dirty job for exploitation-level money to help one of her friends out. Her boss...
Very common.
Yes. Her boss told her to clean out the library at the St. Anselm Club, one of the Yale University's student dining clubs, and throw the books and other materials away.
Ooh.
Those clubs had old libraries, and as their membership declined from their early 1900s heyday enrollments of hundreds apiece in most cases to 10 or 15 by the early 70s,
Wow.
they had no use for their libraries anymore. Fools! Once we got the job clearing out one, others followed. Each club had thousands of books
wow.
and other items.
Okay.
Before we packed up a single book, I opened one to the copyright page, showed it to Charlie, and our mental cash registers simultaneously rang.
Nice.
Most of the books dated back to the early to mid 1800s, and many were first or early printings.
Oh, shit.
This is like an Antiques Roadshow fell in your lap.
Yeah, wow.
Whoa.
I thought I was lucky when I found a bunch of Playboys in the garbage.
Well, you were. None of them had book plates or stamps that said property of. We looked at each other and said at the same time, ka-ching! and laughed hysterically. I called my cousin, Special Ed, to help us out in return for $100 plus a tank of gas to use his truck to help us pick up what turned out to be 19 loads of books and other items.
Wow.
I still have the first printings of Dracula.
Oh, my God. That's worth a lot of money, bro.
This is going on here. All 14 volumes of The Wizard of Oz,
Okay.
Treasure Island, early printings of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, Frankenstein, The Modern Prometheus, Dickens Classics, and more.
Wow.
Some were never opened.
Whoa. Wow. Keep going.
They
This
were
is
just
getting
going to
good.
throw them out.
Yeah.
This is
getting-
amazing. I can tell because some of the pages were still joined at the top. Books are usually printed 16 pages per plate, folded and bound, and then cut apart. Often enough, in some copies, the pages were not cut apart. Those were worth money if they're the right titles and they're old enough. Eventually, we sold enough books to stock respectable-sized municipal library. Most of them were not particularly valuable, but cumulatively, it was a very nice windfall.
Nice.
The trick to it with any collectible you have more than one copy of or a large quantity of, many different ones, is to bleed them into the market gradually to maintain the value.
Yeah.
For example, if 20 Gutenberg Bibles in perfect condition were discovered and released into the market all at once, all Gutenberg Bibles would lose value. Ed picked up that tip off of some crime drama and told us about it over a couple of skins of communion wine. Naturally.
I love it. I mean, think that would be an awesome sitcom. You're
I know.
Back in the church, drinking communion wine, plotting all this craziness.
Drinking communion wine while being evil geniuses.
I love it.
It's delicious dramatic irony.
Oh, I love it.
Wow. It took us years to unload them all. We got rid of the less valuable stuff almost immediately by selling one at a time to widely dispersed antique and pawn shops. The big-ticket items were sold through various auction houses over time.
That's where you get the big money.
Oh, yeah. Along with the books, we carted away old photographs, collections of lithographs, paintings, and other art taken down from their walls by tasteless fools who wanted the wall space for modern art.
Oh, yeah, great.
I got to do like the Ron White thing, when his relatives talking about the Mercedes with the windshield wiper on the headlight. Those hoity-toity motherfucker.
Yeah.
My car has a backup camera.
Yeah. Well, my car's a rocket ship with a battering ram on the front.
Which one?
A cop car.
Yeah, well, so you got the rocket ship with a battering ram, you've got the broken back window truck, and then you've got the Jukes of hazardous because it hasn't moved in months.
Yeah, I haven't driven it since last year.
Well, it was becoming a money pit, so
Yeah.
I don't blame you at all. Although
Yeah.
it's kind of starting to look like Sanford and Son out front. I'm rolling up, and the grass is like a foot high, and he's got the cop car parked on the lawn, 2 other cars in the driveway. I'm like,
I don't care. I just don't care.
I know you don't care.
You know, I have a kid who comes mows it every 2 to 3 weeks.
It's all good. Okay. He continues, we even rescued small bronze statues by relatively well-known lesser artists and expected to have to return them, but no one noticed.
Okay.
Our attics and basements, along with Ed's garage, were full of this stuff, as we had to go through them slowly using catalogs to know what was what. As we sold off the less valuable pieces, the money started stacking up. We decided to cut Special Ed in for 20% in early December.
Nice.
We were giving him stacks of cash every few months.
Oh, yeah.
That gift paid off on our next hustle, antique furniture, because Ed was now down to anything we needed him for, and he was almost twice as strong as the 2 of us combined, and he had the endurance to match.
Nice.
We gave him money to rent a 26-foot truck and help us for a few hours every day and all day on weekends for 3 weeks. He worked like a bull, and he was cool. He did not mind working for a couple of kids 5 years younger than himself. Yale was the largest landowner/landlord in New Haven and had 3-story houses furnished with old furniture left to the school by rich alumni. Starting when we were pushing 15 at the start of freshman year, supposedly educated elite Yale kids who were renting would toss the stuff that previous generations wore holes and rips in. They tossed out old paintings, woodcuts, lithographs, and prints, a few of which sold for considerable sums when auctioned off.
Nice.
The stuff most underappreciated in value were the old picture frames around the most worthless art. We collected thousands of those just as interest in them was taking off. Every framing shop in the country wanted them, and they were not easy to find. Although it was a seller's market, we had to sell that off gradually to realize the maximum returns.
That's wise.
Yes, we picked up beat-up antique armchairs and sofas by the dozens, and if they had good bones, even though the upholstery was thrashed. By the time we started collecting this stuff, we had given Ed his next tranche of cash from the sale of books and artwork.
Nice.
We also gave him money to rent industrial loft space for us to store 1,000 or so pieces until we could find buyers.
God damn, that's awesome.
This is an enterprise, man.
Yeah. Hey, look.
Yeah.
You got to do what you got to do, man.
Yeah. He says we're too young to sign the lease. That's what we need Special Ed for. There were enough incomplete bedroom and dining room sets to mix and match and make complete sets. Bookcases, end tables, coffee tables, etc., all just thrown out to make room for new crap. We had lots of pieces of broken mahogany furniture that was valuable for fashioning into new easy chairs and the like by putting together complete frames from broken identical furniture. Mm-hmm. One such piece was a solid, single-piece, 10-foot tabletop 3 inches thick.
That's like a $2,000, maybe more.
Yeah. We also picked up a lot of black walnut, golden oak, and other hardwoods. We unloaded the bits and pieces for around $15,000 total.
Nice.
Not counting the tabletop almost as soon as we
And this is 1970s money, right?
1970s
That's like
money.
45, 50 grand today.
At least. An Amish furniture maker bought the tabletop later. I'm sure he had that sawn into at least 4 slabs to make bureaus and tables. We fit this in around the produce business and auto parts gig during the summer of '75. After the first season, we knew what to pick up and what to leave at the curb.
I was 7 years old when they were doing this, those bastards.
It's genius.
It is.
Actually, there was nothing to fit in because the furniture collection gig lasted for only 3 weeks at the start of each semester. We were so busy during those times that we blew off homework and did the bare minimum of studying to avoid being hassled, although we were up late keeping up with math classes. Our mothers were pissed, but my father said, "Leave them alone. They know what they're doing."
That's right. There you go.
And this is real world shit.
Yeah.
Homework is homework.
Yeah.
They're learning
Money is
real-
money. Money
Yeah.
talks, bullshit walks, baby.
Exactly. By the 3rd year, the pickings had grown slim because the oldest stuff had already been trashed. Just as well, since we had no more room to store it without finding a larger space, and we were ready to move on to auctioned-off bikes, cars, and other municipal vehicles. Bigger and better things, bro. Bigger and better things.
All right.
Ed knew an upholsterer he introduced us to who was willing to give us a good price for repeat work. We started sending the best pieces to his shop. Small investment in reconditioning an armchair, sofa, love seat, etc. disproportionately increased its value. For the next 5 years, we gradually sold off antiques by appointment only and cut Ed in for a full third that he earned.
All right.
One day when we were 16, Ed bought a gallon of wine to the loft. We were tearing a 400-pound sofa down to the wood to make it easier to transport. He would have brought bourbon, but he quite rightly thought it was a little too much for kids to handle who had never drank hard liquor.
Yeah, he'd be correct.
Yes. Yeah, go with the communion wine instead.
Yeah.
By this time, Charlie had a van, and I had a pickup. We still needed Ed in our next venture because neither of us could sign a contract. Furthermore, he was good-natured, easy to work with, and his physical strength was definitely an asset. Besides, it would not have felt right to not include him even if we didn't need him. He would have been hurt had we gone ahead without him, and it would have been a betrayal since it was something that he said that gave us the idea.
Okay.
While showing our picture frames around to framing shops, we noticed that some people were having landscapes, seascapes, and old photos framed in weathered wood. That fad was just starting to take off, so weathered wood was in short supply. Ed mentioned that in his neck of the woods out in BFE, there were half a dozen weathered, century-old barns whose owners would jump at the chance to have someone come by and tear them down cheap since it was now a felony to burn them down.
Oh, shit.
We were out for the summer and could only get 20 hours per week at the auto parts store, so we were in business.
Nice.
On our first teardown, we noticed that the oak columns and beams were still solid. After stripping off the siding and roof, we burned all the shingles. It wasn't yet illegal to burn trash there.
I'd still burn it. Fuck it.
Nah. We still had the problem of taking down the frames without killing ourselves. To make matters worse, those fucking things were held together by mortise and tenon. I don't even know what that is.
Is that pegs? I don't even know what that is.
Luckily, Ed's and my pickup were both fitted with trailer hitches because we needed the traction of both trucks to pull it down even after Charlie attached the nylon rope near the top.
Okay.
Without Ed, Charlie and I would have needed to rent some equipment to move that heavy lumber. With him, it was still a struggle to load a borrowed flatbed trailer to move it to the builders we sold it to. Who knew that ancient 30-foot 8x8 oak timbers would fetch so much?
Oh.
Ed, that's who.
There's a big mark in that even today.
He had been around the building trade since he had just started plumbing apprenticeship. Several years later, he married a singularly unattractive woman with a warm personality who had the organizational and bookkeeping skills that he lacked and needed to run his own business, and they retired to Florida together just recently.
Nice!
Side note on Special Ed, he earned that name for some of the spectacularly boneheaded moves he pulled, and because he was not book smart, but he was not stupid. Really, the most special things about him has always been his friendly, easygoing nature and fierce loyalty. Well, you know what?
Amazing.
It must have rubbed off on you, good sir.
Yeah, that's an awesome story.
I love that.
I thought I was doing good selling Playboys
Fantastic.
at school.
That is amazing. Yeah, man. These stories honor your buddy, and you're honoring him even more by taking care of his grandson.
Oh, hell yeah,
so,
man.
It's,
I can't say
off.
this enough, man. I mean, if you're successful in your plan, that kid is going to flourish.
Yes.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.